Me again. So, I recently got a lot of questions about my cable management. Let's get into it. A quick synopsis of what I think a few tips and tricks are that I use when it comes to cable management, just in case y'all just want to speed through this and just, be out the door. That's fine. Cool. So I'm gonna give y'all those first. So one, when it comes to cable management, I feel like you need to set up your setup and or space however you want it before we start trying to plug things in and put cables wherever we want them to be. Put your monitors where you want your monitors to be. If you have wired keyboards and such, place everything where you want it to be. Let those cables fall as is. Let everything fall where it is. Kind of see what you may or may not need to move. As far like I have elemental lights here up at top, and I have them set up the way they are because of the cable, because of where I want the cable to be, because of how I want the cable to fall, that goes to them. So stage your setup for however you want it to look when you start managing these cables. Two, plug in your base cables first. And what I mean by base cables is I'm not going to begin plugging up HDMI cables and USB-C cables and things like that. I mean, these are your power cables. These are your extension cords. These cords are usually a little bulkier. They usually give a little less flexibility as far as where you're going to have them lie, how you want them to lie, how you want to turn them, things like that. Finesse those, play with those first, plug those in first. Three, take into consideration, is your space stationary or no? And if no, what parts are going to be moving? And I say this because, so as far as my desk itself, because she's a rising desk, that portion is plugged into my wall. So when whenever she rises or fall or whatever, that part's in the wall, that's fine. I have my nano leaf lights. They're plugged into an extension cord, but they can be plugged into a wall because they're stationary. They do not move. They're not going to move. But because my desk does move, that means my cables are going to move. So whenever managing these cables, I need to be mindful of what the cables are like or what they need or how much slack they require whenever my desk is elevated, and then whenever it is at its, base seated level. So you need to take in those things. Fourth, let go and let God. And I say that because I feel like managing cables is much like doing things backwards. You play in chess, you gotta plug things in, raise your desk, move your space around, however, the moving parts are going to be moved. You need to see how things are going to function, because baby, the way I'd be upset to set my setup up the way it is, and then I need to move a speaker from here to here, or I need to, I don't know, maybe my mouse is wired or whatever the case, and I want it to sit a certain way or a certain place on my desk. And, I want to turn my monitors if I need to, and I don't have that flexibility to turn my monitor whenever I want. Can y'all tell I've been there before? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so that is it. So, those are my key steps when it comes to cable managing, just little things that you should take into consideration when beginning to manage your cables. Now, as far as my own desk, if y'all want me to get into more details, I will, but I'll go ahead and show y'all what it looks like under my desk in general. So yeah, below my baby here, this is what my cables look like. This is how she is managed. So I have all of my, the two big bulky things that I have, they sit on a bracket here. I wish there are better brackets, but this one I got for free. So why not? Because I do work from home, I have a hub here. I have my block here. These two, they're the bulkiest things that, as far as cables that I really have here, and they're heavy. As you can tell, it looks like it's leaning a little bit. This is holding it, a zip tie. Baby, when I tell you zip ties are my bestest friend when it comes to cable management, zip ties. Anyways, so here, as you can see, they just do what they want to do. Honestly, they just do what they want to do. And again, because my desk is a rising desk, they're not really tight. So this is a splitter, as you can see, and it is for my my Xbox. It is for this monitor is shared between as you can see, my Switch. It is shared between my PC and also my Xbox. So because of the way my display ports are set up, one of them is shared with my Xbox and my PC. So I use that button to swap back and forth. As far as what I have hidden here, as you can see, they run, look at that. These cables, they're here. If you're looking hard enough, you can see these cables. But I kind of wrap like some greenery around it because that's just kind of my aesthetic and it works. So whenever you're looking at my videos or you're in my house, they don't stand out like that. Same for the cables that are connected to my PC. They're just tucked away. They're just nicely hidden behind my monitors. You don't see this a lot because of the way I usually film, but yeah. This button here is stuck to my desk. It runs along the back of my desk here. Those are my nano lights. Love them, love, 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 love them. The back of my curved monitor here, she's set up like this. Again, several cables, several cords, my bar lights, the box under my desk. This is where that is connected to. And honestly, I just have them sitting up here. Y'all, my cables, they really have a life of their own. I live here. It is their world and I live here. My desk, she is a standing desk. So she does rise. And my plant is in the way sometimes. I like to push her so she doesn't get in the way too much. But she does rise. And of course, whenever I pick her up, you do have a better look at my cables. But whenever I have her up like this, I'm usually not filming when she's up. I'm usually working and trying to get some blood flow and things like that. But she does rise. And I do feel like the cables aren't atrocious when she's up, but you do still really get a good view of them, a good side of them. I don't have many cables on my desk that, live out, except for this one. This cable here is the only cable that I really let live on my desk from time to time. And that is because that cable charges my phone. It charges my phone. It charges my e-notebook. It charges my iPad. It charges my my mouse and keyboard whenever I need to. But the trick to cables that are going to live in sight for me is that, baby, you got to match the aesthetic. You got to fall in line if you're going to be seen. So the cable she's a really cute cable. She's braided. She's white. She's, really thick, really sturdy. So I feel like if you're going to have something on your desk that is seen, definitely make it worthy of being seen. You won't catch one of the little black default cables that comes with stuff on my desk. No, call me what you want, but no. So that is it's my little take on cable management. Honorable mention. So honorable mention for cable management. Wireless. Yes. If you can get something wireless, why are we not? The mouse and keyboard, wireless. As a matter of fact, all of my mouse and keyboards, wireless. Throw the wires away, guys. If the best way to manage cables is to not have cables. I'm just saying. But anyways, if you can get something, honorable mention, if you can get something wireless, do get it wireless, please. Honestly, that is the holy grail of cable management. I know we can't, have monitors and build PCs wireless, but the things that you can, if possible, speakers, keyboard, whatever the case may be, if you can get it wireless, baby, do. So yeah, thanks for joining me in my cable management TED Talk. See you next time. Bye.